Hey everybody, welcome to the third installment of the Lakelands football show. As always, Ethan Joyce, Andrew Mackey here to talk a little football. Andrew, I got to be honest, I'm surprised we made it 3 weeks. I'm starting to run out of dress shirts to wear.
Well, I noticed in the ads section of the Index Journal that Baby Gap was having a sale, so maybe you can swing by this weekend.
Not only did Andrew just cross a line, but he also managed to hurt my feelings.
Not hard.
Anyways, let's talk about football now. Today we have Emerald at Abbeville as our Lakelands game of the week. Andrew's going to be over there, and Andrew, just tell us a little bit about what's going on there Friday.
Well, Emerald Abbeville's always a little bit of a testy rivalry. You know, it's two of the bigger football powerhouses, if you can call them that, in the Lakelands. They always seem to talk a little bit on Twitter and different social medias leading up to this game, so it's always a very emotional game. Emerald's had the upper hand the last couple years, but they're bringing a rather inexperienced team into Heights Stadium tonight, and Abbeville's rolling. You know, they've easily dismantled their first 3 opponents. Emerald's going to be a lot tougher test for the Panthers, but I don't see anyone walking into Heights Stadium this year and knocking off Abbeville, so I'm going with the Panthers.
We also have Greenwood at Northwestern this week. We're not going to be there. We're going to have Rock Hill covering the game for us. Andrew, could you just touch on that game a little bit as well?
Yeah, you know, it's another game, another big-time powerhouse opponent for Greenwood. You know, they have a really tough opening schedule. Coach Dan Pippen likes to call it the SEC West. It's not too far off in terms of South Carolina powerhouses. Northwestern is always deep in the playoffs, always making noise, always has a big-time prospect. You know, Greenwood's going to be good. By the end of the year, they're going to be deep in the playoffs, but unfortunately, they're going to be 1-2 after tonight. Some other intriguing matchups this week in the Lakelands. 96 travels to Swansea, wherever that is, for a Class 3A matchup with Swansea.
Yeah, and 96 has kind of had an interesting schedule start so far. They've definitely blown out the 2 1A schools they've taken on. They took on Emerald. Didn't look as great, but it seems like maybe they've gotten things back under control. Last year against Swansea, had a pretty crazy ending to that game with Saquon Garner getting a pick 6, and then they went for 2 to actually win the game. So it's going to be a hard test for 96. Swansea has taken on quite a few big opponents so far, and don't know how 96 is going to do with this. You know, I think Mike Doolittle would be happy with just playing them really hard since they are a 3A school, but I'm probably going to take Swansea in this one just because they have taken on some pretty big opponents this year in 3A.
You know, interesting story about Swansea. Cameron and Billy used to do some pig fighting down there, so they know how to tackle people down there.
How do you fight a pig?
Wrestling pigs. Anyways, moving on. Next matchup, Sloot is at home for the first time of the year, taking on another Class 3A opponent in Gilbert.
Yeah, and they've also had an interesting start to their schedule. They've had Class 1A Rich Spring Minetta, and then last week they had Class 2A Mid Carolina, and so they're actually taking a stab at a 3A Gilbert this year that's only lost to River Bluff, which is quite a large school, and so I think that the Tigers are just going to keep handing off to Malik Brooks just because he has been absolutely dominant this year. Not to mention they have the wideouts to be pretty effective in the play-action pass also. So I'm going to take Saluda to go start the season 3-0.
Until someone stops Malik Brooks, holds him under 150 yards, I'm going Saluda. Wrapping up some action around the Lakelands, McCormick's at Ware Shoals. That's always a pretty good Class A rivalry. Ware Shoals is a little down this year, though, so I'll take Mateo Durant and the Chiefs. Greenwood Christian hits the road to take on WW King. How do you see that one playing out?
This King Academy is not the King Academy of old. They have a great tradition there of 8-man football, but unfortunately I just don't think they have the manpower to stop Greenwood Christian this year.
And routing out Friday night's action, Cowan Falls is at St. Joe's. Tough matchup for the Flashers. I'll go with St. Joe's. And Southside Christian travels to Due West to take on Dixie. I think Dixie's going to fare pretty well, but I'll ultimately take Southside Christian.
And that's it for the Lakelands football show. As always, follow us on Twitter, IJ Ethan Joyce, IJ Andrew Mackey. IJ Greg Hampton. He's going to be covering McCormick at Ware Shoals. We use the hashtag Lakelands Football. We'd love for you to use it as well. And also, I would like to go ahead and send my condolences to all the fans at Death Valley on Saturday, because the Mountaineers are going to come in and they're going to take them down.
Whoa.